This episode is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got it all. All you gotta do is go to CarterComics.com, fill your card up with all their amazing comics. Use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. Save you 10% at checkout. Not only on their website, but also at their eBay account. And the link to eBay can be found on their homepage at CarterComics.com. Again, CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all comic needs. What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to another episode of this freaking show, kicking off 2025 with, right, Joe, I'm not sure what's going on in the world, but it terrifies me.
There's a lot going on.
Because I think a lot of it has to do with watching Instagram reels. I think I watch way too many of them. And I don't know how it happened because, I mean, I know Instagram has like the whole like algorithm concept where like, oh, when you like watching these kinds of videos, we're going to show you these kinds of videos. Like, this is what we want to show you.
Yep.
And I was fine with that.
This is what you're watching.
Yeah. For the longest time, it was Elf on the Shelf ideas and Colombian women saying Papacito. That was my life for December. I know who I am. Somehow, now it's all about our economy and LA fires.
Nice.
I don't know how. I think I watched one video that I kind of regret because it basically was saying like, some guy was sitting there and he's like, if I was to tell you that we're in a year that started with a big Chicago fire and a virus spreading through China, you wouldn't know if I'm talking about 2025 or 2020. And I'm like, what the hell? And I looked and so back in 2020 was one of the largest California fires. Yeah, I think it was like 4 million acres or whatever. And then obviously COVID.
And this one's fucking dwarfing it.
Right. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, so you come 2025, now you got a fire that surpasses that. And it's a virus that's not compared to COVID. Like, it's not. I don't want to be the guy saying like, "Hey, this is the next COVID." It doesn't seem like it is. It's
Which
just,
virus we're looking at? Bird flu?
What are the actual letters of it? Let me see here.
H1N5?
No, maybe. What? I don't know. HMPV.
HMPV?
Human metapneumovirus.
Never heard of this one. This one is news to me.
Yeah. So human, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but human metapneumovirus, or HMPV, right, is one of the viruses that causes the common cold. It usually makes people only mildly sick, but can make some people very sick. The virus belongs to the pneumoviridae family of viruses, along with respiratory syncytial virus, RSV. It was first identified in 2001 and has been spreading among people for many decades. It is found around the world. It spreads like other common cold viruses, though, through infection, respiratory particulates that spread through their air. Currently, I think it's just currently spreading over in the eastern side of the world. I believe China.
That sounds right based on what I'm searching.
Yeah, so not COVID, really. Pray to God it doesn't get to that kind of level, but it doesn't seem like it is. Obviously it's been around for 24 years, and it's just now I'm hearing about. Well, actually, I other than STDs, I never really heard of illnesses in abbreviation before. HPV, HIV. I think the first one I ever heard was H1N1. I think that was the first one
swine flu.
Yeah.
Remember SARS?
I remember SARS, but I remember SARS as the word, not saying out the abbreviation SARS. Yeah. Was kind of like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
yeah. Yeah, so I've always heard it as like SARS is the illness, not SARS or whatever it does stand for.
Yeah, I don't remember what it stands for either. I know so COVID, what we call COVID-19 it's actually a SARS virus. It's SARS-CoV-2. The original SARS that we heard about 20 years ago was SARS-CoV-1.
See, I never heard that.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Just an interesting fact. Don't know if it matters. Just think it's cool. I mean, cool,
Oh, well, hey, information's cool. The thing is, like, I mean, it's stuff like that. I mean, obviously, COVID was such a big, impactful part of our life. It's always going to be that way. We're always going to continue to learn things about it. We're always going to kind of, hear more things as we progress through. It's just the idea of I'm hoping, which again, I guess it's kind of difficult to think about because I'm thinking about it from being a Midwest person.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, it's like, okay, there's a virus going around that's similar to the common cold. Well, yeah, it's wintertime, duh. But I don't know the climate in China, but I don't think they own snow boots. So
depends on where you're at.
Really?
Place.
Oh, mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess mountains and stuff, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, okay. So maybe I don't know. So wherever the virus is spreading through China, hopefully everyone's okay and everything, and it's just like I said, it could minor to severe. Hopefully it's on the minor side for everybody.
Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, dude, just hearing crap like that and watching that one video kind of just put me into a rabbit hole of things now, and it's just like, I just wanted this year, which for me personally, this year's starting out great. The dieting's going great and everything.
Oh,
and,
dope.
Yeah. I actually meal prepped, like a legit meal prep for the week. I know when it comes down to dieting for me that I need to take the way I eat very similar to like smoking.
Gotcha.
And stuff like I can't cold turkey just give them and say I am done. Like I gotta slowly wean myself off and just be done. Which I think comes really down to the idea of ordering food and stuff like that instead of making my own food.
So damn convenient.
It's so convenient, and that's the biggest problem is like I got to get out of this mindset of convenience. I need to actually start working for some stuff. I got to start, earning my own shit. So if I do order food, it's only going to be during lunch for work. And it's only going to be on payday Friday. So every other Friday, if I choose to order, those are the days I'm allowed to order.
Nice.
Every other time, I got to make my own food. And what I found, and I absolutely love, and I actually posted it on the Journey, our Freakin Journey page on Facebook, was buffalo tuna mac and cheese. Which
nice.
it's just I got these individual packets of Kraft mac and cheese that you pour into a bowl and microwave for like 4 minutes, whatever. So I found out that like I mean if what I did was I take two of them, microwave them up, throw a can of tuna in there and use some buffalo sauce. I just kind of mix it up, and it's roughly about 550 calories, but it's like 64 grams of protein. So
that's awesome. That's a huge amount of protein.
Tuna has a lot of protein. 2 cans of tuna. Sorry, 2 cans of tuna. So
gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. So 2 packets of mac and cheese, 2 cans of tuna. Apparently, tuna has a lot of protein in it. I kind of knew that, but never really like understood it. But that'll be my lunch, And then so on Monday I had a protein shake. I had a thing of grapes. I had a thing of carrots, and I had well, I guess technically nope. Never mind. Let me backtrack here. So I was eating that, for like the first week of the year. Last week, I made a similar thing, but instead of making it with tuna, I made it with chicken breast. And I portioned it out, and I actually used this Kraft 4 cheese mac and cheese instead of like the individual packets. So I made it for 4 days, and I used chicken instead. And I think it was similar in calories. I think it was around 600 calories. But it was like only like 48 grams of protein, 48, 54, somewhere around there. So a little less protein, but it was still good. And I had carrots, I had grapes and all that stuff. So for breakfast on Monday, I had a protein shake, grapes, carrots, and that buffalo chicken mac. Tuesday, I Same thing. Wednesday, I ran out of carrots, so I just had grapes and the buffalo chicken mac. Thursday, I ran out of grapes, so I just had the buffalo chicken mac and the protein shake and everything. And then on Friday, I ordered like Jimmy John's or something like that. So
nice.
Had a chicken wrap. It was good. They got the Kickin' Ranch back, which I absolutely love Kickin' Ranch. So, but yeah, it's just I want to try to commit into that. And like I said, I bought enough tuna, I bought enough mac and cheese where I can make these as meal preps, and I don't hate it, and it's something I could probably continuously eat. And if I wanted to, and I was telling my friend Danielle this because I kind of Snapchatted it too, because once in a while I Snapchat my food like a teenage girl.
Yeah.
And she said it looked really good. And I was like, yeah, because the thing is, like, what I like about it is like I can eat it cold if I want to, because I mean I still live in that mindset of like, well, I can still eat things cold, even though you should probably heat them up and it'll taste better or whatever. But I can just like put pieces of chopped up celery in it or some too, and so awesome. Yeah, so that part of my life I'm excited about, I'm happy about it and everything. It's the society part of it. The east side is freezing over from obviously wintertime, while the west is burning to the ground.
Yep. How it goes sometimes.
It does, and dude, and it's wild, and and I know there was this one video of again the Instagram Reels. I think it was Nikki Glazer. She made some kind of speech or something at an award ceremony, and made some kind of joke about how like God wasn't mentioned in one speech. Like everyone think like Ted Cruz, families, and everything, but nobody think God. And then all of a sudden Hollywood's burning down. And I'm like that's an ironic like realization.
Oh, yeah, the Golden Globes. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, well that's
no surprise in this godless town. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Is like it's like how do I feel about laughing about it? It's like it's a funny fucking thing, but it's just an ironic thing that occurs, and the fact that I think the first fire started not that far away from the Hollywood sign.
Interesting.
I think there's a couple more, but I know I think there's 4 big fires that are currently 4 big areas that are currently happening. They're spreading and all that stuff. Gotcha. I think one of them was started by an arson, like not actually like a fire that just happened, but like an actual arson started one up. Wow. I do not know. I watched a video this morning that it was rough too. Like some woman was saying that there were fire hydrants that didn't have water in them.
Huh.
Yeah, and then I don't know if it was a mom or if it was some kind of government official. Like she was up in like Newsom's face. Like I guess Newsom was out there and like he's telling this woman, he's like, I am, as of right now, I am on the phone with our president. We are trying to get answers and blah blah. And she's like, can you prove that to me? And then there's a cut in the video. And then him coming back to saying like he's like, we're doing everything we can. And she's like, what are you doing though? Like why do these hydrants not have water in them? Like what is going on? Like what?
They ran out. They ran out of water in the hydrants.
It's insane. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's nuts. And then people.
Yeah.
And I looked. Go ahead.
What makes me crazy about it is like we've known for over 100 years that LA was eventually going to burn down. Because it is not a place that is fit for human habitation without the amount of water that we pump in there. And no offense, no cruelty intended. None of you, very few of you folks who live in LA who are dealing with this deserve it. I'm sorry, it sucks. I feel for you. My heart goes out to you, all that stuff. But also you're living in a desert, right? Like the only reason LA is this paradise is because of decades of not decades, a century almost of water being pumped in. Yeah. It's just nuts to me.
Did you I don't know if we ever talked about this, but I saw something again, and I'm just going based off internet, I remember, I think one of my favorite things that I ever heard you say on this show, when we talk about the internet and like what's real and what's not on it and everything, I think one of my favorite quotes I heard you say is like, he's like, yeah, you can never really trust the internet. Abraham Lincoln said that. I learned that on the internet. That was one of my favorite things I ever heard you say. I can't remember if it's LA or if it's somewhere in the middle of California. There used to be a huge lake that got drained.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And and you know, just hearing about like the water issues, and like I saw another video where people were talking about how like there's access to water, but they can't use it because there's like an endangered fish in that body of water or something like that. There's people, and I did look it up, and as far as I can tell, it's not true, but I mean it's partially true. But Oregon sent like 50 or 35 or 50 some odd fire trucks, firefighters, and everything down to help with these fires because they understand. I think one of the quotes was from one of the chiefs, and they said fires don't know state boundaries. So they sent people down that way to help out. And one person said like they're stopping them for emissions, and it's like I looked it up and everything. I was like that can't be true.
That can't be true.
Like, that cannot be real. But then I looked it up, and what it was is they were being stopped to be safety checked. You know, make sure they got the proper equipment and ready to go into fires. You know, and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Which makes a lot more sense. You know, before, hey, these volunteers who are coming down to our state to help out, before we send them in to this fucking Dante, you know, that's occurring here, let's make sure they got the proper equipment and everything. That I understand. So
yeah,
for those of you who are saying emissions and everything, like ease up a little bit. Like, come on now. It's like it's
absolutely wild.
Yeah, not make it worse. The worst of it all. Jesus, I'm gonna play it for you because this, as far as I can tell, this is real. You'd be able to tell me if it's not or if it is or not, because again, this is a Instagram reel, and if this was really said, which I think it was, then I'd be a loss for words. I don't know how to use Instagram. Do you realize that? Okay, saved. I have a whole folder, by the way, that says pod on it because it has a bunch of different things. There has been times where I watch reels on Instagram. It's like, ooh, this would be kind of cool to bring up, and I never brought it up.
And here we're always scrounging for content.
I know. So,
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. President, and also for the work that everyone around this table has been doing with the appropriate sense of urgency.
Okay.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, he is just, man, he is the wrong man for the moment and has been for like 2.5 years, 3 years.
There's another one. It's a little bit hard to hear, so I won't try to play it on the show. But there was another speech that he did while in California. I think he was next to Governor Newsom, and he was standing in front of people. And I guess to summarize it, he just said, "The bad news is that houses are burning down. That's the bad news. But the good news is, as of today, I'm a great-grandfather."
I saw the great-grandfather clip. I didn't see the stuff that was before that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, resign, man. Just resign. You know, look, if you have to frame it this way, just to get yourself in the mindset of stepping down, if nothing else, there's still 9 days before President Trump is sworn in.
Yeah.
Stick it to all of his merchandise. Make Harris the 47th president anyway for 9 days. And just, you know, that's going to completely fuck up Trump's day. Like, just do it, you know, and I'm not trying to, this is not me trying to get back at Trump or like hurt Trump or whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. This is me saying, Biden, I am appealing to your worst angels, your worst demons, to get you to fucking leave.
Yeah. he should have stepped down.
Oh my God.
He should have stepped down when he decided he did not want to, run again. Or
like as soon as he finished. So like I think he stepped out of the race, and then like 2 weeks later there was that hostage exchange or whatever. That was like that huge big global deal. Like, okay, you did one big cool thing with your influence. Walk away. Walk away, man.
Did you see the recording of what he said to a reporter who asked him about that? Like, it was like during it. Like, I think a reporter asked him like, do you think you'll be able to get the negotiations done before you leave office? And I think his only response to her was, do you think you get hit in the head with the camera that's behind you?
Oh my God. He's so belligerent. It is baffling. It baffled me when he was running in 2020, and like there was that guy. One of the people in the audience asked him a question about something, and he like pointed at the guy real aggressively and was like, "Listen here, fat." Like, what the fuck, man?
It was an interesting decision in 2020 to go with him. I honestly do. I agree with you. It's like I think that within the 9 days, fucking do it. Absolutely 100%. Make Kamala the acting president for 9 days. But it should have been something that should have happened back in like October, September, if anything. It should have been one of the things like it's like, listen, like, just be done. You've been in government since what, like the 60s or 70s or whatever, a very long time. Since he was deemed the youngest person in government.
Yeah. He was born closer to the end of the Civil War than his birth is to the present.
Yeah. That's wild. Like he should not be in charge of shit. Now I understand that like he has the authority to do what he wants as president. He's still doing some shit. He's utilizing the last few weeks that he's been utilizing it.
No doubt.
He hasn't done anything that's going to fuck our lives up. And I'm sure that if he did, people would step in and be like, okay, no, like if he was to come on, like if he was to, sit in the Oval Office and, around all his, I don't know what they're called, people who, advisors and stuff like that.
Advisors is all I do.
And he said, what we should do? We should bomb Russia. I'm pretty sure somebody will say, yeah, we can't do that. Like,
right.
Okay. I think we kind of hit the point where we got at the
like actually, Mr. President, you're relieved.
Yeah. It's like we're good. Like we're good. And stuff like that. It doesn't seem like he's that far out. And I'm sure if he was, there'd definitely be people who could stop him. If I had to guess, and it'd be just my opinion, I'm not saying it's happening or not. I'm sure that there are people kind of coasting him through the last few days. Mm-hmm. So like because what he's doing isn't that bad. It's wild because I know I'm jumping around and everything because it's the stuff that keeps popping in my head. I'm like, I can't wait to get back to kind of talk about this shit.
Yeah.
But so he was pardoning people on death row.
Oh yeah. He commuted a bunch of sentences and stuff.
Did you hear about the 2 people who refused it?
No.
So I believe there are 2 people that refused it. And from the article I read, and it was like a week or so ago, the reason they refused it because if they took the commuted sentence, they can't retry their cases. And they want to prove that they're innocent.
Gotcha. Oh, so because taking the commutation is an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
Right.
So 2 people. So I mean, it's cool that he's doing this stuff. It's cool that he's commuting death sentences and everything. And I'm very hit and miss when it comes to the death penalty. I mean, it's for me like and I talked about this a little bit with Pat and Nubby on JFW off air because it's not wrestling related and stuff. But for me to be okay with the death penalty, there has to be 100% without a doubt it actually happened, and it has to be a pretty fucked up crime. Like Timothy McVeigh blowing up Oklahoma, I'm fine with that. Like 100%.
Yeah, he killed like 23 kids and 100 other people.
Yeah. I could go to bed at night knowing that they made a decision that I believe was the right decision. But when people are on death row for an accusation where, like you don't have definitive 100% proof that it happened, that's where it kind of concerns me.
Yeah.
And I understand like what
just our whole justice system, the way that it works is prosecutors want to get the conviction by any means necessary, right? Yeah. And so, like, sometimes you'll have prosecutors who don't care if the guy's actually guilty or not. They can put together the facts and an argument enough to make it look like he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's it. That's the ball.
Yeah, and then some of those, maybe, assumptions, some of those people probably don't have the best defenders.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, I guess the positive is at least it's not like death row's like weeks. Like, you don't get sentenced to death row and then you go death row weeks later. Like, I know there's some time to where hopefully people can kind of relook at a case, get the right people involved. I know there's organizations now that I think like work with death row inmates on getting them a second chance and all that, which I think is cool. So I think his idea of commuting these sentences, I mean, I'm guessing like at least I'm hoping that when people are being told this stuff, they have an understanding. Like, listen, if you sign this, you're admitting fault.
Right.
Like, that's it. You know, and they're probably like, okay, well,
yeah. And it's still, I mean, in a way, a lot of times it's still a death sentence, right? It's just not, we're not going to kill you. We're just going to wait until you die.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, there's pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
I'm anti-carceral anyway. I don't think it's an effective, I do think that it's important to get dangerous people out of society where they can do harm, or get them to a place where they can't do any more harm, whatever. But I also think like if prison was the threat that pro-prison people want it to be, I don't think it would be as full, right? Like our jails and prisons would not be as full as they are.
I don't agree with the fact that drug possession should be put in the same place as rapist.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I think like, and it's weird to kind of think about, but like with the 5M GTA game that I play, my character owns this Irish pub, which is supposed to be like a starting point for new characters coming in who want to be the police department. This is where they start out to make money and everything. Well, recently we opened it up to hiring people with felony charges and stuff. Like, normally we didn't. It had to be a clean record and everything. But we recently opened it up. One is because
you could be a felon and be president. You can run a bar now.
Hell yeah. And that's what's like, okay, it's time to make some changes, brother. Because one of the biggest things was because obviously our turnaround was huge because it was a temporary pit stop for people. The other reason we did it was because like we wanted to try to adapt this concept of second chance.
Yeah.
So it's not that like it's not like, oh, you have a felony, come work with us, continue to do your felonies. No, if you come to work with us, you agree that your charge was a poor judgment on your part, that you made a mistake, you got caught with it, you're owning up to it, and you want to be a better life. So you come and you work here, and as long as you don't commit another felony, you have a job here.
Yeah.
But you take responsibility of this job, knowing that if you commit another felony, you will not work here. It's a second chance, whatever. And
how about it? I love it.
So I think when it comes to like our prison system, when it comes to non-violent crimes, because that's how we phrase it as, like, we hire non-violent felons. Now, if somebody goes around and starts shooting people and everything, I don't want people working there. But if they speed away from the cops, if it's a burglary that doesn't include a weapon, stuff like that, I have no problem hiring somebody because they own their mistakes. But if somebody comes up to me and is like, oh yeah, I just gunned down 4 cops and shot up a neighborhood, blah blah blah, but I want to be a better person. It's like, okay, we'll look at that down the road, but right now that's a little bit fresh. You just did this yesterday, like, we'll look at it down the road. I'm very open to the opportunity of making change. So when people are like arrested for drug possession, stuff like that, like, I think that's more of a counseling, rehabilitation concept. It's like, listen, like, there's so much more you could do in your life than, selling drugs. Like, let's figure out what that is. Like, first off, why are you doing it? And if you're doing it to make money, let's find a different way for you to make money.
Right.
Not like, oh, we're going to throw you in jail, for 366 days because it has to be one day more than a year in order for it to be prison or whatever the hell the concept is. And you can be next to the dude that, is a registered sex offender and a rapist. It's like, they're not the same thing. It's like, You know, it's not criminal isn't a criminal isn't a criminal. Like different crimes, you know, you should be, you know, maximum security. I know that's where murderers go. It's not where fucking drug dealers should go. You know,
right.
It's I think non-violent and violent should be completely separated because people sometimes do make mistakes. And yeah, if you have to go to jail for 90 days or 60 days, whatever it is, you know, hey, go do it. Go do your time. Start over. Reboot. You know, not, oh, we're going to stick you in maximum security, you know, for, you know, a year and a day. It's insane to me. So.
Agreed.
But I think it's kind of cool that, like I said, like, I mean, Biden's doing a lot of shit, but at the same time, I think the positive, good things he's doing right now, it's other people telling him that he needs to be doing.
Right. Well, and there's nothing he's doing right now that Harris couldn't do for the next 9 days.
Yeah.
You know, as far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm full of shit. I don't know.
No, I mean, like I said,
I was gonna not swear this year, and it happened almost immediately.
You know what? Next week we'll try it. We'll see how it goes next week. I think we're capable of doing it.
Yeah,
but
I think that's fair too. Like, and that's how my whole New Year's gone so far. I mean, it started out, you know, I tested positive for COVID on like January 2nd. Mm-hmm. I was still positive as of 2 days ago, but like almost symptom free 2 days ago. You know, there's a newish rule where like if you go 24 hours without a fever or fever reducing drugs, then you can be around people with a mask for 5 days, regardless of whether or not you're positive. So yesterday was the first day I was back in the office. My original plan for this year was like, I'm going to give, you know, that first partial week of January is a mulligan. I'm not going to worry about it. It's that in between time when nothing's going on. January 6th, I'm getting up. I'm going to try like, I think I'm going to try, there's this workout program, I guess, called the Hard 75.
Okay, it sounds.
It's like it's like for 75 days you have to do 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them has to be outside, rain or shine, or snow or whatever. You have to follow some kind of diet, and you have to read, not audiobook. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book a day.
I think I looked at that. I think that was something I was actually kind of interested in.
And no alcohol.
Okay.
Easy peasy. I was going to start it on January 6th.
Okay.
I was going to start January 6th, just in case the recording didn't catch that. But then I've been sick, you know, and you know, with COVID for me, it's a lot of like, it's just downtime. It's laying in bed, scrolling through YouTube shorts and Facebook reels and Instagram reels, because there's like, you know, there's nothing else I can do. I'm just laying here until I get better.
Yeah.
And especially since my wife,
like that.
Yeah, and my wife also got sick, and so, you know, Maddie is she's been a day behind me the whole time on this round of COVID, and you know, it's just there's no reason to be up doing anything anyway.
No, and I think that's what a lot of wintertime is kind of. I mean, in a sense, it's not so much a hibernation, but it's to slow down life.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, obviously, like, you know, with the snowfall and everything, you don't got to be outside doing yard work. You know, it's more focused on indoors. You know, and you just kind of like it just slows down. You know, and I know that's
45 minutes of shoveling is that's an outdoor workout.
There you go. Yeah, right. Just just grab a shovel and start going down a sidewalk and shit. Fuck it, man. I've heard about that. I think it was through an Instagram reel. But I mean, I thought it was a unique thing. I was like, you know, that's something I could look at doing, you know. And
I think that's how I heard about it. It was just through one of the reels I saw or whatever. I was like, that seems interesting. Yeah. There's an app. It was like $5 in the app store.
I'm not sure how often you're on Instagram, but
very rarely.
Because I've been sending you reels for like months.
Oh, geez.
A lot of it has. No, you're good, man. Well, a lot of it is like prayer stuff. A lot of it's like Jesus stuff.
Nice.
I reel swap with a lot of different people, and depending on who the person is the kind of content they get. So like,
gotcha.
When it comes to Sherry, it's people falling over or crapping themselves.
Uh-huh.
When it's Nick, you know, it's more about you know, like like kind of like the nice guy finishing last kind of jokes and stuff like that. Ashley, it's about shitty dads. If it's Diana, it's mostly just about Latina flirting stuff. But she knows who I am. It's fine. Pac-Man is mostly about goofy people doing goofy shit. And then when it comes to you, it's either podcast ideas or Bible-based stuff.
Nice.
So, like I said, for the longest time, like a lot of my reels, like I got a bunch of everything. Like just because, like I'm like, oh, you know what? Joey will appreciate this. Pax will appreciate this. Sherry will appreciate this. Ashley will appreciate blah, 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 blah. So just a plethora of stuff. Through December, it was just me sending Ashley Elf on the Shelf ideas. And obviously, you know, sending Diana, you know, Papacito, Colombian things. I'm just like, I just want to find this. And then, yeah, just like I said, one day I watched, there's this video out there of, it was talking about like the process. I think it was Michael Moore. They're talking about the election in 2016, but there was like brief clips of it, and I kind of rabbit holed into listening to that stuff. And I think that's what led to Biden reels. That's what's led to the pun video, and that's what led to the fire. So like that's now like where like it fell into, you know, the LA fire thing. I'm just like I got to get out of this. Right. I understand that this shit's happening, and I sympathize with everyone that's happening to.
There's like, literally nothing I can do.
Yeah, there's not. You know, it's like I can't head out to California and say, give me a hose and take a step back. Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, I'm not jumping out of any planes into the middle of it with a fire extinguisher and a bucket. You know, it's like, but there's so much.
I don't have enough disposable cash really to like, you know, to donate to a masking foundation or a mutual aid organization.
Yeah.
I'm broke right now.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
you know, I just paid my. I put a bunch of church charges on my credit card, and when I got reimbursed, Chase has this stupid thing now where you can set up a payment plan inside your credit card for a purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you go in, you make a purchase of like $400 or whatever, and you can pay it off in 6 months, interest free, for a small fee or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you know, I like not paying interest. Let me try that. And then you go and you try to pay your credit card, and it says, hey, by the way, if you pay your whole credit card right now, you're going to void the interest free payments you just set up. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I guess I'm not going to pay it. You know, because I'm on the credit card that I had, I'm in an interest-free period on the whole for like another month or two.
Yeah.
Should have just kept it that way. Should have just not worried about it. But I wanted to try this feature that they were offering me. Mm-hmm. In the end, I racked up like 10 grand on that credit card. And I'm going like, I'm not making enough to save up to pay that all at once when the interest hits in February. And so I ended up having to liquidate one of my investment accounts that I've been saving for like 4 years at $50 a week. I had enough. Thank God I had enough to pay it. But like that was all my disposable cash. It's all gone now.
Yeah,
you know,
dude. I do have a credit card that has a balance on it right now because I had to get brand new tires, or I had to get new tires for my car. But the biggest blessing in my life was being able to get those credit cards out of my fucking life, because they were a burden for over a decade. It was, because you're sitting there and you're looking at 27, 28, 29, you know, interest rates and everything. And even when they sit there and say like, I forgot which one it was, but there was a credit card where I called them up and said, listen, I need you to help me out here, you know, because I can't afford this anymore, you know. And they'll put you on like a plan, kind of similar to yours. Like, so we'll put you on a plan where we'll decrease the interest rate for like 6 or 9 months or whatever. But you have to set up auto payments, you know. And then during that time, you cannot use the card. And I was like, that's fine. I have no interest in ever using this card again. Pun intended. You know, unlike Biden, my puns, you know, not, you know, hurtful to people's lives. But I'm not interested in using your card anymore. Hell, I gotta call. I think it's Credit One. I got to call them up and tell them to cancel my card because I haven't used them in, what's like, I accidentally used them in November because I completely forgot that our Podbean was set up to that credit card. I never switched it over to PayPal. So when I got my statement for Credit One, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what the hell? And I looked at the balance and I was like, oh crap, Podbean, that's right. Okay. So I got to get that changed. But I'm going to cancel that credit card because they're charging me $8 a month, for this card to be active and use it. And it's like, I haven't used it since May, since I paid it off. So I got to give them a call and cancel them, say I don't need you anymore because your annual fee you have me pay throughout the year and I don't need it. I have no interest in using your credit card anymore. If I do need to use a credit card, I'm going to use one of the Chase cards I got because Southwest and Amazon Chase credit cards have been the best ones I've had. I used my Southwest one because I had to get the new tires, but that balance is going to get paid off in the next 2 months. I could have just paid it with my debit card, but my panicky ass is like, I know the moment that I spend the cash I definitely have, I'm going to need it somehow. A furnace is going to go out.
I'm like, that's Future Joe's problem. And this is, thankfully, this is the only time this has ever happened. Hopefully, it's the only time it will ever happen. Like, I'm never doing the Chase mini payment thing again. I don't know what they call it. They call it something else. But I'm never using that again. It just kind of screwed me.
The one thing I think my dad said it best was, if something sounds, obviously there's a common saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But the one thing my dad told me is like, nobody's ever going to do something that's going to be a benefit to you.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way when it came to Flagstar and my forbearance program, in the sense that I was under the impression that my mortgage has been being paid while I was on that program. And come to find out, they just froze it and started tacking on bills.
Yeah.
So I was like, instead of going back to owing $140,000, it got jacked up to $155,000. So and the thing is, like, for the longest time, I tried to avoid telling my mom and dad and Carl anything about my life because, first off, it's not their burden to bear, but I don't want them to look at me like I'm a failure. So I think that happened to a lot of people. Like, I told nobody anything.
Yeah.
Like nobody really knew. And I think until we started talking on the podcast about my life, nobody really knew how bad things were, like, here. Even before the whole layoff thing. The layoff thing put me into like oh fuck, what am I gonna do now situation. Knock on wood, I was able to make it work. The forbearance program was a huge benefit, I thought, but in the long run, it was the worst thing ever. Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's like the credit cards were ridiculous, and I never told anybody how much I truly had in credit card debt. I had a credit card bill that was so bad, I called them up so many times to get these helpful time periods and stuff, to the point where they just canceled the credit card. Yeah. Like, I still had the balance, but they just canceled the card, and I had thousands of dollars on this balance that I had to pay off, that for a card that I technically did not own anymore. And
they canceled it. You still had to pay?
Oh yeah, I still had the balance. Yeah.
House always wins.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't be mad at them because it was my money that I spent.
Sure. And it's technically theft unless they forgive it, right?
Yeah. And it was $7,000. There's no way they're gonna just say, okay, well, we'll just let it go. But
it'd be really cool if they did.
Right. That monthly payment was over $250 a month.
Brutal.
Just on that alone, on a credit card I did not own anymore. My truck started going to shit, and I started using my Discover card to pay that stuff. And that, that went up to like $3,300,
Yep.
That was $100 and something a month. It was like all this, it just kept piling on. And I'm like,
yep.
It was a drowning. When people say, like, it's wild that, quicksand was something that we feared most about, but never ever had to deal with it. Yeah. I think it's more of an emotional
financial quicksand.
Yeah, exactly. That's the shit that people are like, like, keep your head above, don't struggle, try to figure, stuff like that. And
yep,
again, that refinance thing was an absolute blessing to me, and I'm glad I did it. And I from what I was told, sometime this month I should be refinancing again to get a lower interest rate, a lower payment, and everything. It's not going to be any cost to me. But yeah, to get rid of those credit cards, and to know that I only have about $800 in credit card debt right now, that's from these tires that I know within the next 3 months I'm going to pay off without a problem. That's a blessing to me. So I'm trying to do it. I guess to summarize everything, I'm trying to do everything I can for 2025 to be the best year possible. Yeah. A lot of that has to do with not being lazy, like being
Proactive.
more proactive. Yeah. And I know we were talking about keeping each other accountable and everything. Obviously, I didn't want to bother you this past week because obviously being sick and everything. It's like gonna be like, hey man, Monday morning yoga, because it's like no, if he's not feeling well. I think Carl told me last Friday, I think.
Yeah, probably because I tested positive on Thursday. So
okay, he told me that I guess your mom messaged him and said who got sick and all that. And I was like, wow. I was like, he's like, yeah. He's like, did you come in? That's the same questions you did. Did you come in contact with anyone? I was like, the only people I had contact with was Ryan, Grandma D, and I think Wayne. Everyone else I kind of just said hi to from afar.
Yeah. I'm 60% sure I know who it was, but like I'll never be able to prove it. And
I'm sure there's a way to narrow it down.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
There were a handful of people who were actively sick, and at least one of them was a child who had no choice in being there. One of them was an adult who, I will say at the very least, when I went to give him a hug, he was like, you should keep your distance. I'm sick. But like, it's too late. If I'm already close enough to go in for a hug, I probably COVID is so infectious. Like, I don't know. He's my number one suspicion is that guy, but it's whatever. I'm okay. I did have a bummer of like I am worried about what my heart health is going to look like this year because of this. Because the last time I had COVID, any amount of physical activity afterwards, my heart rate would spike like crazy. Even just like walking around or carrying like 10 pounds of stuff, I would suddenly hit like 150 beats a minute. And I had to sit down and wait it out for 10, 15 seconds. And like the other day I got like stir crazy and really wanted to leave the house and just to go for a walk, like just to get outside, go for a walk, start trying to work on my cardio a little bit. In putting my coat on and my boots on, my heart rate spiked to 140, which is like, that's concerning. That's the thing I'm worried about now. But since then, my symptoms have gotten better. And my heart rate hasn't spiked as frequently or as high, so I'm hoping I'm okay. And I'm just, my 45-minute workouts are going to be it's going to be 45 minutes of walking at a decent pace outside, and 45 minutes of DDP yoga. Like that's going to be my thing for a while, and then because the two things I really want to work on, I'm entering, in August, I'll be 35. So I'll be moving into the second half of this decade. I'm starting to think about where my mobility and my flexibility are going to be in 15 years, when I'm 50.
Yeah.
So that's
chiropractor, bro.
That's what I'm working on this year.
Chiropractor, bro. It's I mean, for me, my biggest concern is lung capacity, my lung health. I'm still, as of right now, I haven't smoked since I turned 35, May of last year. So
Congrats.
I haven't had a cigar. I haven't had a cigarette, nothing. I have not smoked since that golf outing, the weekend of my birthday. So am I young? My lungs are still all jacked up, and I know it's going to be that way. And I'm hoping there's a way that maybe, over time, regenerated tissue, whatever it did, but
yeah.
What needs to help me is the shortness of breath, the issues with, having trouble breathing. So if I could get past that, hopefully with weight loss and everything, that becomes easier. Am I running any marathons? Probably not.
Yeah.
Am I actually going to be able to have a wrestling match in the ring? Probably not. But if I could get myself to the point where, I could walk around a farmer's market or, maybe go on a hike or something like that, record a cemetery vlog without breathing heavy into the camera, that'll be a victory for me. That'll be my win. So,
you have to like a comfortable 2 miles.
Yeah.
Walking. Walking.
Yeah. 2025 personally has been great. 2025 society-wise, that's not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic for better things. I have to believe that things will get better because sanity dictates that. So
yeah, fair enough.
So we'll see how everything goes. But Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
Yeah, I am excited to kind of officially start 2025 for myself on Monday. I know by then we'll be 13 days into it, but like we just got done talking about, I've been sick for 2 weeks, so I'm ready to start getting it together, and I don't know, maybe improving. So what about you? What are you freaking thinking about?
Same thing. Like I said, it's been a progression. I haven't started yoga yet. I do want to start it on Monday. I got down the process of meal prepping, and I kind of know what I'm going to be doing going forward and all that stuff. So I'm excited to do all that. But it's continuing the journals. It's continuing the freaking journey. It's just finding ways to keep myself accountable through media content. But I just want to keep progressing forward, and hopefully as, we go through 2025, there's more of a smaller travesty on this camera. So we'll see,
Nice.
Hey, Joe. Every week did you really freeze at the end here? Yeah, I'm going to take that. Yes, you froze. Okay. I don't know if you're talking or not. You are completely frozen on my end, so... Guys, make sure you check out Geekcast Live. I think it's... Oh, there you're back. Cool.
Yeah, for whatever reason, my internet just goes out randomly.
Okay.
So,
I just need
if you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, Twitter, searching Geekcast Live.
There you go. Thank God you came out, because I was about to say go to gcl.threadless.com, but that's your merchandise.
Hey, go there. I just put up 25 new designs yesterday.
Did you? Awesome.
Yep.
So gcl.threadless.com?
Yep.
Perfect. Head on over there and check out some Geekcast Live merchandise. Make sure you continue to listen to us wherever you do pick up your audio podcast. We are everywhere. Just search This Freakin' Show. If you want to watch the podcast, you can do so over at the FreakNet Studios YouTube channel. And obviously our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just by searching This Freakin' Show. Guys, that's all I got. As always, I'm Travis T.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin' Show. I'm out.